Thank you, ma'am. There are round about 62 students now. Yeah, okay. All of them are from commerce background?
No, ma'am. We have different streams, ma'am.
Okay.
It has been streamlined even in offline also, ma'am, because two classes students are sitting and watching. So
Oh,
they
okay,
can.
okay. Nice.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Kalehadi, please give the introduction. Yes.
சரியா கேட்கல ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. Good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of MHRD Institution Innovation Council, DKM College for Women, Autonomous Vellore, I would like to extend a very warm welcome you to our Impact Lectures Series 2 and Session 1 on Entrepreneur, the Future of India, and Session 2 Intellectual Property Rights and Overview. With the blessings of Lord Almighty, we shall start the program by welcome the gathering. I am glad to invite our IAC President, Dr. A. Amartoli Ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, Department of History, to welcome the gathering.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Kalevani. I'm very happy to propose the welcome address. I thank our college management and principal for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Today, we are gathered here through Google Meet and YouTube streaming and even through online for the Impact Lecture Series 2 lecture sessions. This session is being sponsored by the MHRD, Institution Innovation Council, and I thank MHRD for giving us this opportunity second time. We have two sessions. For the first session, we have Mrs. Deepthi Mittal, advocate and corporate trainer, Dr. Reddy's Foundation, Mysore, with us, who's going to address on entrepreneur, the future of India. So thank you, ma'am, for sparing your time and accepting to be the resource person for our session one. And
Thank you.
yes, thank you. I'm also delighted to welcome our second session resource person, Dr. B. Deepa, India Registered Patent Attorney, Bhavesh Associations, Intel Pack, Patent Solution Chennai. Ma'am is going to deliver on intellectual property rights and overview. So I welcome both the resource person on behalf of our college management, principal, staff, and students. And I also welcome our college secretary, Sir Dr. Mr. D. Maninathan, and our president, Dr. T. Shivkumar, Sir. And I welcome our principal, ma'am, for constantly encouraging and supporting us to organize many such programs. And I also welcome the various staff members and the various students from different streams who are present here. And I welcome the IAC organizing committee members for constantly organizing awareness programs on on patents and on innovation. I also welcome the staff and students who are present here from different colleges. So once again, I welcome each and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I am happy to invite Dr. V. Rekha Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, to introduce the resource person of Session 1.
Good morning, one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the resource person of the first session, Mrs. Deepthi Mabel, who is an advocate and corporate trainer, and her qualification is BBA, LLB, LLM in business law. Deepthi Mabel, a woman who believes whatever you give will multiply and come back to you, is an advocate and certified trainer, renowned speaker, counselor, leadership consultant, and mentalist who would like to encourage students by facilitating a dynamic and interesting learning environment in which they can grow and develop. She has rich experience associated working as senior trainer and digital trainer at Dr. Reddy's Foundation, Hyderabad based NGO, whose vision is to give better skill to youth, which would help them in getting better job. Employability skills facilitator at Magic Bus India organization, funded by Google, a project for 2 years to facilitate employability skills to first plus two students at Mysore. Legal advisor at MK Agrotech, Srirangapatna, Mandya. She is also a legal advisor at Read Edu Tech Mysore. And in addition to this, she has conducted more than 300 training and counseling sessions for corporate, educational, and other organizations, including government and non-government undertakings. She has also taken up the role of a facilitator in a host of topics, including career guidance, stress management, personality development, motivation, placement, and life enhancement and entrepreneurships. Flexible in handling both online and offline training, she can conduct training in English, Hindi, Kannada, and Konkani languages. So, with this few note, I now call upon Mrs. Deepthi Mabel to deliver the talk. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I now cordially invite our resource person, Mrs. Deepthi Mabel, advocate and corporate trainer, Dr. Reddy's Foundation, Mysore. Welcome you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for a very warm welcome. And without, further ado, let's actually start. Okay, is the chat box access to everybody? Can they use chat box, at least for those who have logged in with their mobiles?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I like training more than what I do a lecture or all those things. Okay. And my training usually goes two ways. That means what? It's not like a total lecturing session where I will stand for 1.5 hours. I'll be going on speaking. And at the other end, I don't even know whether you are actually listening or sleeping. I always expect all my candidates or the trainees to participate in any way. Okay, they can either speak to me or put a message or chat box. They can use the chat box and everything. So let this be a very interactive session. Most of you would have known the topic and they would have had an idea. You would have had a background of your family who have a small business or anything which is going on. So it's just a request to all the students who are gathered here. They said it is streaming. You are sitting in a classroom and also watching, and few of you have logged in with your mobiles also. Please be very interactive, ask questions and answer for anything, raise, and let's see what more we can see. Okay, is it okay with everybody? I at least require one S. Come on. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Fine. I could actually start, I'll give you 30 seconds to everyone here. Okay, I hope everyone have a notepad and a pen. Okay, I want you to write an attribute before your name and make it a beautiful tagline and write it on the top of your notepad or the paper, whichever you're holding. An attribute, I can say it as an adjective or a prefix to your name. Okay, but with one condition, that should start with the letter of your name. For example, my name is Deepthi. Okay, Deepthi actually starts with D, the letter D. Okay, so I would give an attribute to myself as dazzling Deepthi. Okay, so you need not tell me. I'll give you 30 seconds time. I just want you to write an attribute to your name and write it on the notepad. Done? I really hope everybody have written. Okay. So why I made you to write it? See, our name is always a special attribute for us. Our entire name, whatever it is, we like our name, we love our name. Okay. And giving an attribute to it, giving an prefix, giving an adjective to it will actually boost up our energy that helps us to do more, giving us, telling us, you can believe in yourself. That's the only reason. Moving on, so let's go ahead with the story. Are you all with me for a story?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am actually getting only yes, ma'am, okay, ma'am, from the lecturers itself. Okay, anyhow, moving ahead, there was a man who was an uneducated. So he, for to live his daily life, he was actually doing a lot of daily labor, anything and everything. Whoever had used to call him, he used to go and do the daily labor wages. He used to do lot many other things. He used to do. There was a time when that man had actually left with no job. He had nothing to do, and no one were actually calling him for the jobs also to work. So what he did, he wanted to do something. He wanted to survive. He wanted to lead his family. So he started telling all his friends, neighbors, and everybody, on what he could do it. He started telling everybody, tell me if there is a job. Tell me if there is any work which I can do. Even if it is that work, this work, anything I can do. All these things he was going on telling and requesting his friends and his neighbors. So one of his friend told him, see, there is a company there and they are looking for a watchman position. Okay. So because you said you can do any of the job, I request you to go and, check out in that company as they have a watchman job. So what this man did, he decided, okay, fine, watchman is fine. It's a good job. So he decided the next day morning, he reached out to that company. Okay. So when he reached out there, he waited for some time for their manager to arrive. The moment the manager and his secretary, everybody came, he just got up and he told them that, I have come here for a job of a watchman job. Okay. So what that secretary, especially the manager, walked away. That secretary said, okay, please be sitting for another 2 minutes. We'll get back to you. Then after 2 minutes, they send a lady, and that lady comes to this man and she will ask for a resume. Okay, I hope everybody have idea on what resume is, or has all of you are graduates actually. This fellow, I told you he was an uneducated. He had no idea of what resume is, and he didn't had one also. So what this man did, he told him I came for a watchman position and I don't have a resume with me. So that lady very abruptly and in a very rude manner said what? Don't you have a resume? Fine. Then this is something we cannot take you for the job. We want to take somebody who at least have a simple resume. So this fellow lost all the hopes. He came home. He just came back from the company and he was walking by. When he was walking by, he just checked out in his pocket. Okay. He was only left with the last 100 rupees to survive in his pocket. He was thinking, he had no idea what to do. He was just, when he was walking by, he saw a big kind of a market, okay, where they sell a lot of vegetables, fruits, flowers, and lot many things. He just he starts his way throughout the market. He sees that there is a man who will be, selling tomatoes. So what this man does, he just takes out that 100 rupee from his pocket. He buys 2-3 kgs of tomatoes from that person, and he takes a bag and he starts walking out, having no idea. I'm stressing this word, having no idea on what to do with the tomatoes. He just purchased 3 kgs of tomatoes for 100 rupees and is walking by. When he was walking by to his house, when he was actually crossing all the residential areas, just with a fraction of moment, something struck to his mind and he started thinking, tomato is something which every household require. Every house requires a tomato to do any of the food items. So I anyhow have 3 kgs of tomato. Why don't I actually go on, knock each the door and ask them if they require tomatoes? So he started doing that without any delay. He started doing that. He knocked on the first door. He asked, "Do you require tomato?" They said, "Yes, we require." They purchased the quarter kg, and again, he goes to the other house. He knocks down. Again, they buy it, and within a fraction of an hour, he actually sells off the 3 kgs of tomato what he had actually purchased. And when he starts, at the end of that 1 hour, when all the tomato was over, he counts that money. He would have had 100 rupees, which is actually his investment, and 20 rupees as a profit. So what he does, he keeps that 20 rupee back in his pocket, takes that 100 again, goes to the same market, buys tomato again, and comes back and does the same thing. He goes to every house, he knocks, he sells tomato. And again, he takes out the profit aside with the investment, he goes to the market. And with the same rotation, when he kept on doing it till evening. And in the evening, when he actually counts his money, 100 rupees actually his investment, he had like another 160 rupee as a profit. So that is when, so totally he had 260 rupee by the end of the day. The day what he started was actually with 100 rupees. That day he got to know what he had to do from further. So he decided, okay, I'm not going to get or find any of the jobs from now onwards. I'm going to sell tomatoes. So next day morning, as usual, he took up the same amount. He went to the market, purchased tomatoes, and he went on doing it. After 1 week or 1 month, he purchased a small cycle so that he can take up too many of the loads, and he continued doing that. And 6 months, 1 year, he purchased a cart, he purchased a truck, and he started owning his own small vegetable ventures here and there. And then he started selling the same tomatoes to the outside cities. Not only in that the place where he was living, he started even transporting to the other cities wherever was required. He purchased a land. He started growing tomatoes so that he need not go to a market and again buy it from anybody. So that is how, his business started growing on, and that person became one of the richest man in that city. So after some time, when he actually earned a lot of money, lot of reputation, lot of fame and everything, when person gets a fame, usually our TV, media and everybody comes behind them asking them what you did, how you did, please tell us your success story and all those things. This for some interviewers or media people did approach this man also. So he agreed to give an interview. So they came, they arranged everything, they sat. When he was, he said like, this is how I started, this is how I went on, and this is how I have built and such a big business now. So and all, she asked, "Sir, can you please share me your resume so that it will help us to build the profiling or whatever before we project this in a TV?" So that fellow said, "No, I don't have a resume." This lady was shocked again, and she asked, like, "Are you serious? You are such a big businessman who has crores, who's doing crores together of business, and don't you have a resume?" He says no. And then he remembers this incident and he says that, "Lady, if I had the resume, today I would have ended up being a watchman, not being a businessman. Why this story? See, it's not because, like, only uneducated start with the business and they come up and all those things. This business, this entrepreneurship, whatever we have or we speak, is actually there in our Indian blood. What we are actually of, or what we actually get scared of, is the fear of failing, fear of taking risk, fear of what if somebody would say that I have done my education, how it would look if I do this, that, and all these are the traumas which we actually have it in our mind. But I want to repeatedly telling you that this entrepreneurship or doing a business, this innovating, this creative thinking is actually in our blood. You just look at the temples, get back to our history and, the lot of eras. You look at the temples, 1,000-year-old temples, what we have in North and South India. All the temples have a very beautiful pillars. Yes or no? They have a lot of beautiful pillars, okay? The pillars may actually look very similar. All the temples will do have a lot of pillars. But if keenly observe those pillars, each pillar at a different temple will have a very unique and a very different designs, which is actually done around 1,000 years ago. That's how I said we were born innovators. It was due to after all these things, during the independence, the British started entering. They made us actually as slaves. They made us as laborers because they decided Indians are for the cheap labors. They made us to work for them. That is when these jobs, working for somebody and all those things actually started coming up. Otherwise, even even now, if you take out any in the entire world, we have an IT technician or an engineer or an innovator, who is working in every country, especially an Indian. You can name anybody. Google is something which is founded by an Indian. Microsoft. There are lot many things. So this is the time, if you are thinking I am doing my graduation now. Okay, after graduation, I will go and check into this company. I will I'll end up getting some 20,000-30,000 salary in the beginning, and then I'll go on. Then no. I kept the topic an entrepreneur, the future of India, is because that entrepreneurship is in our blood and it is blooming in our country now. Now, Indians are gradually realizing that there is a lot of scope in entrepreneurship than doing a business. Than doing a 9 to 6 job. They realize that they are worth more than whatever the job or working under somebody gives us. They realize their capability, and that's how even your lecturers and even your college started thinking of giving you one of this training sessions, so that you can think of out of the box, think of something, do something, be an innovative person, and you can create business in whatever way you can. Fine? Okay. Let me just present my screen to you. Okay. Is the screen visible to everybody? I hope it has to be. Can anybody acknowledge whether the screen is visible? Okay, thank you. 1 second, I'll share it again. Okay. So let's just understand what actually an entrepreneurship mean, okay? What they actually say, it is an act of starting and running your own business like that tomato seller did. You know what it is, just we become or we start to run our own business, and then they are saying the definition actually says it is the ability and readiness to develop, organize and run a business enterprise along with the risk to make profit. Simple two things they are very clearly saying. Along with the risk, it does has a lot of risk, but it does have a profit also. Okay, so there are 2 points. One is to take a risk and another is to make a profit. And we actually have all the ability and all the readiness to develop and to organize any kind of businesses. Moving on, let's actually watch a video now. Somebody has to acknowledge me whether is the video playing? No, right? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Just wanted to check with the sound. Uh, is it audible to everybody, the video? It's not audible. Uh, there is no option of share voice here. Okay. Anyhow, I'll play it without the audio itself. There is no option such as share audio, which I am getting here. Okay, I'm playing it as it is. Okay, so how was the video? It totally defines what what entrepreneurship is and what an entrepreneur does. Okay. Have your lecturer told you not to speak? Okay, shall we move on? Shall we move on? You can use the chat box also. I hope, like, at least to say yes, no, we are here, we are listening. You can use the chat box also. I have the access for chat box too. Okay, let's move ahead in understanding what exactly, what further we have and why do we actually need an entrepreneur. You can say, right, ma'am, it is so easy to do a 9 to 6 job. Why being an entrepreneur? So these are some of the reasons and explanation on why we have to do an entrepreneurship. Okay. First thing, of course, yes, inadequate employment for all. You all know that there are almost like every year over 80 lakh students pass out of undergraduates and graduate courses in India. 80 lakh students, these course 80 lakh students includes 3 years conventional degree courses, and it includes 4 year or 5 year professional courses such as engineering, medicine, law, and other business management and everything. And in our country, actually, the current unemployment rate is 7.6%. Okay, and very few of the fresh graduates are actually expected to get a regular jobs, and millions actually stay without a job. So that's how it has to, it's a high time that you have to think of being an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur, of course, you can create a lot of employment. It's not only for you, you can also help your neighborhood and the surrounding. Okay, for this, I'll actually tell you an example which happened in Tamil Nadu itself, probably 2018 or 19, I guess, when and railway actually called out for a D grade jobs, okay, D grade position. There were the position would be for like 100 or 200 openings will be there, and every lot of people apply for that job. And the same year, even in Tamil Nadu, actually there were almost around 2,000 applications which came to Indian Railways for the D grade position. Okay, that is to clean and maintain the railway station trains and everything. And among that 2,000 applications, 1,600 applications were actually from the graduates and from engineering students. Why did they apply for that? Because there was a lot of lack of unemployment problems which they had. People who had just cleared out their high school or 10th and PUC, they started questioning the government, if you're going to consider engineers or graduates for the D grade position, then where should we have to go? So this is an example which right then happened in Tamil Nadu, and then they started working on. But just imagine the difference. 1,600 applications from all engineering and graduate students for the D grade position. So there is a lot of you might have heard a lot of things about unemployment. We do have a lot of problems. So that is how being an entrepreneur, which will definitely help everybody, which will definitely help you first of all, and of course which will definitely You can also help others by creating a lot of jobs. Okay. Then why do we actually need to have an entrepreneur? Why do we have to have an entrepreneur? Is for the wealth creation. When we actually, that is how our nation builds, that is how our Indian economy grows, that is how we, we start to get our standard of life or standard of living into a better living or better one. Tell me, who doesn't want to live in a better way or in a better condition? Everybody, right? So when you start off taking risks, when you think of starting a business, that will help you to create the wealth, and that will definitely help you to improve the standard of living. Okay. Then definitely it will help you to be a very innovative person. Find a problem in the society, fill a gap. Try to be innovative. There are like lot many examples which goes with innovation. For example, like your Zomato, your Swiggy is a kind of innovation. The Oyo rooms is an innovation. The technologies which we are using is everything comes under an innovation stuff. So you can actually use your own brain or create something new. Be an innovator. That's what I said. We were born innovators. Okay. Think in a different way. Think critically and start. You can think of creating your own business. Then, of course, yes, being an entrepreneur, it will impact the individual. It will boost our motivation. It will impact our family and the way we actually lead our family. It will impact the society, the way we live, our neighbors, our surroundings. And of course, overall, being an entrepreneur, or if you think why entrepreneurship, that will definitely help you to be help for a community development. Simple, when an individual develops, it's an overall development, and definitely a community develops. Okay, these are the reasons why we have to actually do or be an entrepreneur. Moving on, I actually believe in me. This is a slogan you have to say if you think of being an entrepreneur. Let's see some of the characteristics to be a successful entrepreneur. First thing, of course, yes, has that image set. You have to believe in yourself. Okay. Then what are some of the other characters we should have as an entrepreneur? One is to be an innovative. I hope you would have had a session on that also. So innovation, I told you, anything which you find it new, anything if you think that it is solving the problem of the people, it is solving the problem of the society, then you can definitely think of it and be an entrepreneur. That is one of the characteristics. Then the second one is, of course, the risk bearing capacity. At every step what you keep, there will be a lot of risk which you will have. There will be a lot of problems which you may occur. You should never think, okay, oh, done, my capacity is done, I am not going to do further, this is not going to help me. No, you should always have that growth mindset, and you should always have that risk bearing capacity. You take everything as a challenge and take it. And creative thinking, when you think of a business, or when you think, you look at any of the big businessmen which we have here, in our surrounding, everybody, they think in a very creative manner. If not this, okay, why not something like this? Why not something like this? With whatever the resources we had, they started thinking in a very unique way that brought them a very great success. Okay. Then, of course, the very indeed quality what we wanted is the decision making. At a right time, at a right phase of our life, we should make a right decision. A correct decision will definitely help us to be a successful entrepreneur. And then gap filling function. This I have mentioned is because we should understand what exactly our surrounding or what exactly our problems were going on. They were like, you think of a people who was like, who had no knowledge, who was walking around. From there, we are into the 21st century with so much technology in front of us. Now, see the technology what we have. I am here sitting in Mysore, and all of you there in Vellore. We have connected through this technology. This is the innovation, the creative thinking what they have done. It feels like, if you're seeing me in the big screen, if it feels like I am maybe right there standing in front of your classroom. So that this is the gap which a businessman or an entrepreneur has to fill. They should identify what problem we have. Just imagine what we would have done without technology. Think for a moment, COVID, we were all at home, lockdown, nobody were used to go out and everything. Just imagine ourselves without internet and mobile, how our life would have looked like. What we would have done for almost like 2 to 3 months sitting at home doing nothing. But yes, because of lot of technology, because of lot of gap filling function had happened, even though we were in lockdown, we were reachable to anything. We were connecting with people. We were getting to know what's happening across the world. Okay, and then the characteristic which we require is a business oriented tendency. So you should always, and whatever you think or whatever you feel or whatever you observe, you always should make sure that you look into it in terms of business. Okay, and there are a lot of economic activities also which involves, so cash flow, profit, loss, going ahead, how do you have to distribute, investment, lot of economic activities. So that you have to make a very careful move, whatever the steps you take. And always, like, you should always think of producing an ultimate results. That is the most driven part. When you think of, an entrepreneur producing a result, producing a great results, that is where we stand as an entrepreneur in a very different level. When we don't produce a result, how can anybody can call us as an entrepreneur? When we don't think of results, we just say, okay, I am doing something. But yes, what are you doing? And why are you doing it for? That ultimate results of your entire business is what makes you an successful entrepreneur. Okay, moving on with this is just the difference what I have mentioned. I've been telling there is a lot of difference why you have to do business. The job, again, I hope you all have must know about this business, differences. Okay, job is always, you can say it's, of course, yes, 9 to 6, 9 to 6, 9 to 6, but what are the other things which you can enjoy if you do a business? So first thing what they have said, you can't decide your job's earning and rewards. But in business, you can definitely decide your earning, your rewards, how much of profit you need to make. If you're going for a job, your boss, your manager decides what salary you need to take. But if you are in business, what happens? You can decide on how much you want, how much you need to earn, how much you need to reward. Okay, and again, coming to working time and holidays, of course, if you are in job, again, somebody else decides. And if you are in business, you can choose your working time and you can choose your holidays. You can decide, like, if I want to take a leave for 1 week and go out, you can easily do that when you run a business, and especially when it is at the next level. But can you do the same thing if you are going for a job? No. Okay, then yes, when it comes to growth, your growth totally depends on your boss and it goes very slow. But in business, your growth actually depends on you, and you can decide how fast and slow it has to move. Okay, and then you will have no control of your office work. You will have no control. You cannot use your own brains when you are in the job. But if you come to a business, or if you start of doing a business, you can use your own brains. You can be an innovative person. You can choose to work like how you want or the way you want to work. Okay, and yes, there are some negative aspects also of doing business. That is, if you are in job, it is kind of a safe thing. Okay, whatever it is, at the end of the month you will get a fixed amount, which is kind of a thing which you can use it to run your family. But if you are in business, you will definitely have to face a lot of risk and troubles. Sometimes in some months you may get a business in lakhs. At the same time, in some months you may get business in only 20 So this is again one of the negative things. But you will overall, if I have to tell you, you will actually become your own boss. You need not be under anybody. You need not be listening to anybody. If you are owning a business, you can grow in a very unexpected manner. You can decide on what you have to do and how you want to do. You can decide on your finances. Okay. So moving on with that, why women entrepreneurs? Actually, this is a quite a topic to discuss in a very deep manner. See, women actually have a lot of potential. They are actually shaping the entire future of India. Women entrepreneurs and their increasing presence in India, what it has done, it has significantly influenced the social and economic demography of the country. Okay, so what has happened? The participation of women in the labor force has actually helped millions of families to come out of poverty and to lead their job creations. And women are also well known for their leadership skills, and hence they dominate the new age of industries. No, and it is also like, there was a survey which was taken place, and it is believed that more than 50% of employees are women because of their high precisions of work and a better productivity levels what they have. Their attitude towards the work and business skills actually given a lot of importance to women in the modern workplace. And when it comes to women has a role of Indian economy, again with an MSME survey which they have done, 20%, 20.37% of women are a small scale business owners, which actually result to 23% of the labor force, whatever we totally have it in India. Okay, the women entrepreneurs, that is women businessmen, can actually be considered as a backbone of Indian economy, whatever we have. So they have a strong motivation. They want to bring their family out of poverty, and with the strong leadership, women are now becoming independent and they can easily own their own businesses. And of course, again, with the startup and everything, whatever is going on right now, they are actually presently, they are generating 10% of the revenue to our Indian GDP. And they have assumed that if the woman has given the same force to do, if an woman has given or motivated to do or be an entrepreneur, definitely it will triple the amount of revenue whatever we are getting right now. Okay, so women have a lot of capabilities. Women have a lot of staminas. Women are very strong in doing lot many things. The screen actually clearly says, women run businesses, whatever it is. If a woman is running business, it will operate very effectively. That is because of the higher return potential. Women actually has they require a very less investment. Okay, but they can generate a higher net revenue. That is the return potential which an woman has. Okay, for every for every 100 rupee invested, just I'm telling an example, for every 100 rupees invested on an woman startup, she actually has the capability to get 1,000 rupee out of the 100 rupee. So that is one efficiency as a woman which we have. And of course, women can do multitasking. They can juggle between lot of things at once, because they are made up like that. They could prove high value generating income streams. They can work on their startups. They can look up their family. They can look up their kids. They can even think of doing a job helping others. There are women are actually a multitaskers. So that is also make as a woman, as an us strong. It'll help us to be a strong entrepreneurs. Okay, and then high risk appetite. Women entrepreneurs are actually ready to take risk. There is actually, according to a survey which says 43% of women are actually willing to take more risk. They are ready to take up any kind of risk. They are ready for challenges. And when we actually compare for the opportunities what a men and women could take, and women is actually compared to take up more risk and also succeed in that due to the multitasking or the higher IQ capabilities what a woman has. And adaptability and higher EQ, again, of course, we as a woman are very adaptable. We can adapt to any person, any situation, or any uncertainties which is ahead us. And it is also with the tested and proved that women actually have a higher emotional quotient. That's the UQ. They think things in a very logical way. They think things in a realistic way, where it is actually believed that other people or other men cannot actually do it. This is actually a lady, Sri Vidya. She is an MD and chairperson of Ravindra Service Private Limited. She was a very middle class lady who had no means of life and who had no means of survival. When she was actually leading her middle class life, she identified a domestic problems which people were facing, especially those people who were having 9 to 6 jobs. She got to know that there are lot many domestic or household services required for every person or for every house. That's how she thought that as a business. Now she is actually one of the most leading women entrepreneur in India whom we have. And the second one is what we have is right in Tiruvalluru, that is in Tamil Nadu itself, that is Archana Stalin. You can browse about her in Google as well. She actually comes from a farmer background. She knew what exactly people are looking for, but what changes she bought? She actually bought up with an organic farming. She said, I have a land. If you are interested in growing your own food, please come and do it. So she invited people to her farmland. People started going there. They started to harvest. They started to grow their own fruits and vegetables, and they started to harvest from there. That's what she kept her own business as in my harvest company. What she did, she actually charged only 3,000 rupees monthly subscription from everybody who had to come to her farm and grow their own, do their own farming. So she is also one of the renowned women entrepreneur who is actually changing the entire uh, country. And of course, yes, whatever you are seeing here, all the brands which we have is built, controlled, and managed by women. You would have seen lot many. There are very few which I could actually, put it in one picture. There are so many other applications or other businesses which are built, managed, and even they are run by an woman entrepreneur. And of course, yes, I would always say this because India actually was a country where for a woman, even having their own bank account was considered as a very big benchmark. But now in India, 15.7 million women do have their own businesses and they are all ready to start their new businesses. This is kind of a very drastic change which is happening to India, which is coming up. And India in the next decade, I am sure it will witness a very major shift with women dominating a lot of workplace as well as she is shaping and enhancing the future of the country. And it is actually believed or estimated that in the next a decade, now I said 15 million women oriented business are there. They have estimated in one decade it will grow the double. They are expecting 30 million more women oriented business are going to be, they are going to expect in 2030s. So this could be actually a game changer and it will definitely help the economic growth and it will definitely have a brighter future for everyone. And yes, I would say always this, the future of entrepreneurship is actually very bright in future indeed. It goes on, it is very bright. Do think of being an entrepreneur instead of taking up any kind of job. And thank you so much. Now I would like to open this forum for any kind of question and answers or a feedback session as well.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very precise and a relevant presentation. We have learned so much from you this day, ma'am. Dear participant, do you have any doubts? You may ask, ma'am will answer your questions.
Okay, I'll only continue. Just to adding on, okay. All of you might have watched a Singham movie, right? Singham, the Surya's Tamil Singham movie, which was actually dubbed, changed into many other languages. Okay, so there were lot many things which was happening, and he was working with a lot of politicians, and they threatened him. Okay, there was a scene where actually they come to the police station and they threaten the Singham, the Surya, saying, we will remove you from the job and all those things. And he very clearly says, if I am not going to be worried of you removing me from the job. He says, if I have 5,000, I'll keep a small store. If I have a 50,000, he says like, I will have my own shop where I can keep the same vegetables. And if he again says, if I have 5 lakhs with me, I can do any kind of business what I want to survive. I am not dependent on the job what you have given me. If you have not heard this dialogue properly, I would request you to go and watch the movie again. He clearly mentions with the 5,000, 50,000, and even with 5 lakhs. He does say that I am not scared of losing a job. So, anybody? Okay. Generally, what happens, like, when we are in college and all, it's very difficult for us to think about business. But I'll tell you, there are 3 students from Bangalore, okay? They are engineering students. So everything was fine going on, but still they wanted to start a business. They were thinking on doing, what they can do and how they can connect with people, what kind of a business they can do. Instead of sitting and chatting, like, what you're going, this happened, that happened, my father scolded me, all this, instead of those talks, they started talking business. They started finding solutions to the problem what they felt they have. What they did, they actually thought, engineering colleges are very independent. Different colleges will have a different accessibility, different kind of lecturers, different kind of libraries and everything. And if you are studying in one college and if you need to access for the other college, it becomes very difficult. As a student, if you are one student, you cannot go to another college and access the library or sit in their lecturers or whatever it is. So what they did, they actually created an app which helped them to connect all the similar kind of a courses or similar kind of a colleges, where they got an access with other libraries. They got access for other lecturers. They got access for the notes, the materials and everything. Even though they are students, they have a company which has a turnover of crores. They're still students, they are going on, but still with the help of this app, whatever they have built, they're working on it. So simultaneously, now don't ever think like, we are just studying. We'll think of all these things after our degree or after our graduation and all those things. You can right now start thinking about starting a business now. What you need to do is find a problem in your society and start fixing that problem in a very unique way, which will make you to earn money, lead your life in the way you want, and you can also be an example to others. Anything else, guys? This kind of opportunity to ask a doubt anything regarding the entrepreneurship or anything regarding business, I don't think you will, you keep getting it often. So utilize the time when you have got it And of course, you can ask me questions in Tamil. I can understand Tamil, but I will answer it in English because I don't know to speak Tamil. So that would be a small problem for a communication. But I understand Tamil completely. You can ask me questions in Tamil as well. Any questions?
ஏதாவது டவுட் இருந்தா கேளுங்கம்மா. மேம் சொன்னாங்க இல்லையா, தமிழ்ல கூட நீங்க கேட்கலாமா?
आराम से केकला.
கலை மேம். Vinodri ma'am, shall we close this session, ma'am? Kalai ma'am.
Ma'am, shall we continue with the second resource person, ma'am?
Hey, just a minute, I'll just find out, okay? Just a second. Deepa ma'am, have you joined, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Kalai ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
The next resource person have joined, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Please proceed, ma'am. Kalai ma'am.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. R. Arunadevi, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, to introduce our session to resource person. Good morning to all. Good morning to all. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, who is going to talk us about the intellectual property rights and overview. Intellectual property rights refers to the legal rights given to the inventor or creator to protect his invention or creation for a certain period of time. I know this one is difficult, but the thought that she is a woman of virtue and simplicity. I feel elated to introduce her to everyone today. We are proud to have an eminent speaker, Dr. Diba. She is a registered Indian patent attorney and holds a doctoral degree in analytical chemistry and bachelor's in law. She obtained Women Scientist Scholarship Awards specializing in intellectual property rights instituted by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. She has several years of experience in field of IPR. Presently, she is running an IP firm, Bhavesh Associate and entity of Intelpat Patent Solution in Chennai. Dr. Tiba has profound potential in diverse technical fields for patents, including physical sciences, life sciences, biotechnology, pharma, medical, and the like. She offers service to R&D labs and industries and academic institutions and provides assistance right from drafting the applications, filling and prosecuting till grant. I am sure we will be enriched by this talk. I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I now invite our resource person, Dr. B. Deepa ma'am, Indian Registered Patent Attorney, Pavesh Associates, Interpat Patent Solution, Chennai. We are extremely honored to welcome you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Is my slide visible, ma'am?
It's visible only, ma'am.
It's visible. Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for the nice introduction. First and foremost, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks for inviting me. Maybe as this introducer said, to enlighten in the field of intellectual property rights. See, what is intellectual property rights? In literal Tamil, you can say that அறிவுசார் சொத்துரிமை. அதாவது மனித அறிவிலிருந்து உதிக்கிற அறிவியல் கண்டுபிடிப்புகள், தயாரிப்புகள், படைப்புகள் இதையெல்லாம் பாதுகாக்கிற ஒரு சட்டம் தான் அறிவுசார் சொத்துரிமை சட்டங்கள். So that's what intellectual property, which is the property arising out of human intellect. So before going into intellectual property, we will just have a look at what are the different types of properties. We all know, right? In earlier concept, the two types of properties are movable and immovable property. We will be knowing what are the movable properties, cattle, vehicles. These are all come under movable property. Immovable means buildings, lands, trees. These are all immovable properties. These are the properties which are tangible, which means you can touch the property. You can see the property. So this is the earlier concept of what is a property. Now, what is the present concept here is, apart from movable and immovable property, there is yet another property, that is intellectual property. That is the property arising out of human intellect. It is intangible, which means you cannot neither see the property nor you can feel the property. See, you have a patent right with you, or you have a copyright with you. Can you able to see that property? No, but still this property exists. That is called intangible. So what is this intellectual property? As I said earlier, it is a kind of intangible. That is, you cannot see the property, and it is created with the efforts of human mind or intellect. That is a property which is created by the human mind. That is what intellectual property is. And these are rights derived due to the creation of the intellectual property. Okay. And then these rights are conferred upon the creator. If it is a scientific invention, so the right will be given to the inventor. If it is a copyright, you have written a book or a novel or something like that, the rights will be conferred upon the author. That is the person who writes the book. As I said, it is a property. It can be bought, mortgaged, sold, licensed, exchanged, or gifted to others. These are it is like any other property only. So what right you are having here is exclusive right over their intellectual property, which means nobody else can lawfully use the intellectual property created by them without their permission. So this is the right you are getting. That is, you can prevent others to market, manufacture, and use. That is, if you own a patent or if you own a copyright, means you can prevent others to do that thing. So these are the various types of intellectual properties. There are two types of intellectual property. One is industrial and another one is copyright. Under industrial, you have patents, designs, and trademarks. We will see all those four in the forthcoming slides. And there are, apart from these four, there are other intellectual properties also, that is geographical indication, layout of integrated circuits, etc. So this is just an overview. Now, I think I made you clear what is an intellectual property. That is the property arising out of human intellect. That is human brain, creation. Your government is giving some sort of protection for your creation. That is what intellectual property. So there are various types in that. Patents, designs, trademarks, and copyrights are important types of intellectual properties. We will see one by one. What is a patent? See, people used to think patent is an invention. Actually, the assumption is wrong. Patent is not an invention. Patent is a protection. It is a right. நம்மளுடைய உரிமை அது. Patent is a protection granted by a national government for an invention. So if you have an invention, you will get a protection for that invention. Okay, so if you want to protection in each country, in all the countries, you have to file your application in each country individually. That is, if you have, you have developed a drug, okay, a medicine, you have developed a medicine. So what you want to protect in India means you have to file your application in Indian Patent Office, which means you can prevent others to market, manufacture and use. And if you want to protect your invention in US also, then you have to file your application in US Patent Office also. So that's what. In each country individually, you have to file the patent application. And this protection, what this protection will say, that's what is this protection? It excludes others from making, using or selling an invention for a period of 20 years. That is, for 20 years, you will have the right. A person who owns the patent will have the right. And then, see, not all inventions can be patented. So we must keep that in mind. Not all inventions can be patented. Only those inventions which are new, useful, and non-obvious. So these are the 3 MSA statutory pillars for an invention to be converted into a patentable subject matter. It should be new. It should be useful. That is, some sort of advantage should be there for your invention, and then it should not obvious. I will explain these 3 things in the forthcoming slides. And in India, it is enshrined in Patent Act 1970 and it is operative whole of India. See, if you have filed in Chennai means Chennai mattum the protection kadayadu. Throughout the India, you will get the protection. So this is just an introduction of what is a patent. Coming to object, why patent? Why patent law has to enjoy the exclusive right over the invention. See, if you are doing an invention, if you are doing a research and you are coming out with a good product or a process, so definitely it involves enormous amount of time, money, energy, everything to come out with this invention, right? So the ultimate object is to enjoy the exclusive right over the invention. So you have invented, you should have some rights over that. And of course, to encourage scientific research, new technology and industrial progress. See, if I'm doing the invention and somebody is copying and launching that in the market, it will discourage the scientific research, right? For that. And of course, to ensure commercial returns. See, you are investing money, you want to get back the money. And this was taken from a famous Supreme Court judgment where it states that the price of grant of monopoly is the disclosure of the invention at the patent office, which after the expiry of fixed period of monopoly passes into the public domain. So this is the very ultimate. That is, see, I have a patent right. Okay, I have a patent right. Dr. Reddy Laboratory, they have got a patent. They have got an excellent anti-cancer drug. Okay, they have got that patent right, which means whatever cost they are fixing for the drug, we have to pay because they have got patent right for that. Of course, there are certain restrictions also. That is a different scenario. What I'm trying to say is, and government will give right only for 20 years. Okay, 20 years he can enjoy the monopoly. And after 20 years, it should be open to public, which means generic version of drugs will come into existence. For that, you have to completely disclose what is your invention in the patent office. Then only after the fixed period, that is after 20 years, anybody can use your invention. So this is the very ultimate object of the patent law. A crisp definition of what is a patent is a monopoly right. So granted for an invention. For what it is granting? For the invention. Scientific, அறிவியல் கண்டுபிடிப்புகளுக்கு ஒரு உரிமை கொடுக்குது நம்மளுடைய கவர்மெண்ட். யார் கொடுக்குறா? கவர்மெண்ட். யாருக்கு? டு த இன்வென்டர் ஆர் த அசைன்ஸ். யார் அதை இன்வென்ட் பண்றாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு. ஆர் ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், இஃப் யூ ஆர் ஒர்க்கிங் இன் அ காலேஜ் and college is giving the infrastructure and everything, then college will be the owner of the patent application. That is what? To the inventor or his assignees. And it is for a limited period. 20 வருஷத்துக்கு மட்டும்தான் நம்ம அந்த உரிமையை கொண்டாட முடியும். And it is valid within the country of grant. So this is the crisp definition. If somebody asks what is a patent, it is a right. Okay, it is a right for an invention, for a scientific invention, and it is given by the government to the inventor or the assignees for a limited period. Excuse me. It's valid within the country of grant. Excuse me. Hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Shall I continue now? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So I must say, the three statutory pillars, that is the important criteria. You have an invention with you. The three important criteria is it should be new. That is novel, புதுசா இருக்கணும். Non-obvious, which means, I will explain what is this non-obvious in the forthcoming slide. And of course, it has some industrial application. What is novelty? It should not form a part of global state of art. That is, nowhere in the world your invention should appear. So what is global state of art? Information appearing in magazines, technical journals, books, newspapers, etc. constitutes the state of art. And then, for example, you are describing your invention in a seminar or conferences also spoils the novelty, and you should not use the invention. And novelty is assessed in globalized context. That is, your invention may be new to India, but novelty is assessed in globalized context, which means throughout the world, உலகத்திலேயே உங்களது புதுசா இருக்கணும். உங்க invention should be new. So that is the first criteria. Or you have a scientific invention with you. The first thing is அது புதுசா இருக்கணும், which means nobody has created that, invented that invention. That is the first criteria. Next one is inventive step means a feature that makes the invention not obvious to the person skilled in that. அப்படின்னா, see, like, it should have a technical advantage. பழைய இன்வென்ஷனுக்கும் உங்களுக்கும் ஏதாவது ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் அட்வான்டேஜ் இருக்கணும், ஆர் எக்கனாமிக் சிக்னிஃபிகன்ஸ். அதை விட இதை கம்பேர் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு காஸ்ட் எஃபெக்டிவா இருக்கணும். ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் த கண்டிஷன்ஸ். ஆக்ட் சொல்றது வாட் இஸ் அன் இன்வென்டிவ் ஸ்டெப்ங்கிறது. தட் இஸ், இட் ஷுட் இன்வால்வ் டெக்னிக்கல் அட்வான்டேஜ் ஆர் எக்கனாமிக் சிக்னிஃபிகன்ஸ். அதாவது, ஐ வில் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் திஸ் வித் a very simple example. எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் மீ. ஒரு பல்பு இருக்கு. ஓகே, ஒரு பல்புக்குள்ள டங்ஸ்டன் ஃபிலமெண்ட் இருக்கு. ஸோ என்க்ளோசிங் எ டங்ஸ்டன் ஃபிலமெண்ட் இன் எ சர்க்குலர் கிளாஸ். ஓகே, பர்சன் ஏ வந்து இதை கண்டுபிடிக்கிறாரு. ஒரு டங்ஸ்டன் ஃபிலமெண்ட்டை ஒரு சர்க்குலர் பல்புக்குள்ள வச்சு அதுக்கு பேட்டன்ட் ரைட் வாங்குறாருன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. which means he has got a patent right for a bulb. Person B comes. Okay, person B comes and he encloses the circular, tungsten filament in a tubular glass. Circle இல்லாம டியூப்ல அந்த டங்ஸ்டன் ஃபிலமெண்ட்டை வச்சுட்டு அதுக்கு டியூப் லைட்னு பேர் வைக்கிறாருன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஸோ அவர் பேட்டன்ட் ஆஃபீஸ்ல அந்த இன்வென்ஷனை பேட்டன்ட் ஃபைல் பண்ணாருன்னா, பேட்டன்ட் ஆஃபீஸ் will reject the patent for non inventiveness. அதாவது, if a tungsten filament is glow in a circular glass, it is obvious that if tungsten filament will also glow in a tubular glass also. அதாவது, ஒரு tungsten filament சர்க்கிளா இருக்கிற ஒரு கிளாஸ்க்குள்ள எரிஞ்சதுன்னா அந்த கிளாஸ் டியூபா இருந்தாலும் எரியும். So there is no inventive step in this. That is what inventive step. இந்த இன்வென்ஷன் புதுசாவே இருந்தாலும் they will look into that whether it is having an inventive step or not, which means it should not obvious to the person skilled in the art. I think I have made you clear what is inventiveness is. பழசுக்கு இதுக்கும் ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் அட்வான்டேஜ் or economic significance இருக்கணும். Excuse me. Usefulness, it has to be some sort of usefulness, because we are investing time, money, energy, everything, so that the resulting in product should be useful. No valid patent can be granted for invention devoid of utility. Use இல்லன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, பேட்டன்ட் ரைட் கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஓகே, so these are the three important conditions. You have a scientific invention with you. The first thing is it should be new, புதுசா இருக்கணும். இன்வென்டிவ், அதாவது அட்வான்டேஜ் இருக்கணும். 3, யூஸ்ஃபுல், உபயோகமா இருக்கணும். எந்த ஃபீல்டுக்கோ, let it be automobiles, என்னவா இருந்தாலும் it should have some use. Okay, these are the 3 essential conditions. இப்போ உங்க இன்வென்ஷன் உங்ககிட்ட இருக்கு, you have an invention with you and it falls under patentable subject matter. That is, it obeys all the 3 statutory pillars, that is novelty, inventiveness and industrial application. So what are not, section 3 என்ன சொல்லுதுன்னா, what are not inventions? That is 3A states that frivolous or obviously contrary to the well established laws. That is, see, I have இன்னைக்கு ஒரு இன்வென்ஷன் ஒருத்தர் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறாரு, தட் இஸ் அ டைம் மெஷின். ஓகே, ஸோ தட் விச் இஸ் லைக் யூ கேன் கோ டு த பாஸ்ட், யூ கேன் கோ டு த ஃபியூச்சர் அப்படிலாம் சொன்னாருன்னா தட் இஸ் கான்ட்ரரி டு த வெல் எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்ட் லாஸ். அப்படிலாம் போக முடியாது, ஃபியூச்சருக்கு இதெல்லாம் போக முடியாது. ஸோ அது வந்து ஒரு காமெடியான ஒரு இன்வென்ஷனாக போயிடும். ஸோ இஃப் இட் இஸ் ஃப்ரிவலஸ் ஆர் ஆப்வியஸ்லி கான்ட்ரரி டு த நேச்சுரல் லாஸ், no patent shall be granted. Section 3B states that contrary to public order or morality, prejudice to human, animal or plant life or health or to the environment. That is, if somebody comes out with a biological warfare weapon or நான் ஒரு புது மெத்தட் கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்கேன், யாருக்கும் தெரியாம போய் திருடிட்டு வந்துடலாம், such kind of inventions which are against public order or morality, so no patent shall be granted. Actually, discoveries, section 3C states that mere discovery of scientific principle, abstract theory, living things or non-living things are non-patentable. That is, discoveries patent பண்ண முடியாது, only inventions are patentable. So then comes the question, what is the discovery and what is the invention is? Discoveryங்கிறது Alexander Graham Bell's telephone is an invention. Newton's law of gravity is a discovery. Now you will be able to differentiate what is what. கிராவிட்டிங்கிறது எத்துல ஏற்கனவே இருக்கு, அது வந்து நியூட்டன் வந்து டிஸ்கவர் பண்ணாரு, அவ்வளவுதான். தட் இஸ் டிஸ்கவரி. டிஸ்கவரிஸ் ஆர் நான் பேட்டன்டபிள். கிரஹாம் பெல் வந்து அவருடைய மூளையால அவர் வந்து டெலிபோனை கண்டுபிடிச்சாரு, அது இன்வென்ஷன். ஸோ இன்வென்ஷன்ஸ் தான் பேட்டன்ட் பண்ண முடியும், டிஸ்கவரிஸ் பேட்டன்ட் பண்ண முடியாது. அண்ட் தென் mere discovery of new form, new property, new use of a known process, machine or apparatus. So that is new use of a known compound. So it is a famous example, aspirin, where we all know that aspirin was the pain relief we are using. And later it was found that it is having a cardiovascular property kuda irukku appdin solittu kandupidichanga. Actually, one person with a heart block, he went to the doctor and he was told that heart la block irukku and we have to do the surgery பண்ணி ஹார்ட் பிளாக் எடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஒரு 3 மாசமோ 6 மாசமோ கழிச்சு அவர் போயிருக்காரு சர்ஜரிக்காக. போகும்போது பிளாக்கே இல்ல ஹார்ட்ல. The doctor was astonished and asked what happened, what did you do, என்ன பண்ணீங்கன்னு. நான் ஒன்றும் பண்ணல, நான் வெறும் அந்த ஆஸ்பிரின் தான் டெய்லி சாப்பிடுவேன் என்னுடைய பெயின் ரிலீஃப்காக. And then later the research was happened in aspirin. Aspirinல ரிசர்ச் நடந்தது. அதுக்கப்புறமா it was found that it is having cardiovascular blood thinning, blood வந்து thin பண்றதுக்கு it is usingன்றது later they have found. Okay, so இப்போ வந்து இந்த ஆஸ்பிரினுக்கு வந்து நியூ யூஸ். ஆஸ்பிரின் இஸ் ஆல்ரெடி known as pain relief. இந்த நியூ யூஸ் ஆஃப் த known compound வந்து as per section 3B it is non patentable. And then mere admixtures, that is you are mixing A, B and C, மூணுத்தையும் மிக்ஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு இன்வென்ஷன் வந்ததுன்னா that is not patentable, provided synergism இருந்ததுன்னா we can argue for patentability. And then mere arrangement, rearrangement, duplication of known devices, that is actually it is a very good invention, umbrella cum torch. During rainy season, during night time அது ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். ஆனா umbrella is already known, torch is already known. So just fixing, arranging the two known devices is non-patentable under section 3 of Indian Patent Act. And then method of agriculture or horticulture, method of treatment வந்து patent right கிடையாது. ஓகே, நான் வந்து ஒரு புதுசா ஒரு ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறேன், ஒரு டியூமரை ரிமூவ் பண்றதுக்கு, கேன்சர் செல்ஸை ரிமூவ் பண்றதுக்கு நான் ஒரு இது பண்ணேன்னா இந்தியன் கவர்மெண்ட் டசன்ட் கிவ் பேட்டன்ட் ரைட் ஃபார் மீ பிகாஸ் what happens, only that particular surgeon has to perform the surgery. Patent right na யாரும் யூஸ் பண்ண கூடாதுங்கிறது தானே. only that particular person has to do the surgery. அப்ப அவர் என்ன ரேட் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்றாரோ அந்த சர்ஜரிக்கு we have to pay because he has got patent right for that, right? So அதுக்காக தான் in India method of treatment claims are not allowed. However, like surgical therapeutic or diagnostic instruments, apparatus, if surgical knife, புதுசா ஒரு சர்ஜிக்கல் நைஃப் ஒன்று கண்டுபிடிச்சிருந்தாலோ இல்லை டயக்னோஸ்டிக் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட்ஸ் கண்டுபிடிச்சிருந்தாலோ அதை நம்ம பேட்டன்ட் ரைட் வாங்கலாம். And then plants, animals including seeds, variety, species. So these are all different actல அது ப்ரொடெக்ட் ஆகுது. Protection of Plant Variety and Farmer Right Act, not in Patent Act. And then section 3K states that mathematical or business methods or computer program per se, algorithms, லிட்டரரி, ட்ராமாட்டிக், மியூசிக்கல், ஆர்டிஸ்டிக் ஒர்க் இதெல்லாம் காப்பிரைட்டுக்குள்ள இதுவாகும். கம்ப்யூட்டர் ப்ரோக்ராம்ல காப்பிரைட்ல ப்ரொடெக்ட் பண்ணலாம், பேட்டன்ட்ல கிடையாது. அண்ட் தென் லிட்டரரி, ட்ராமாட்டிக் அண்ட் மியூசிக்கல் ஆல்சோ இட் இஸ் ப்ரொடெக்டட் அண்டர் காப்பிரைட். And then mere school scheme, rule, method of performing, mental act, playing games. So இந்த புதுசா நான் ஒரு கேம் கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்கேன் அப்படின்னாக்கா அந்த கேம்ஸ் எல்லாம் it is not protected under patent right. And then presentation of information, topography of integrated circuits, traditional knowledge. So traditional knowledge patent right கிடையாது. So you can very sure that there is no patent for turmeric, neem, basmati rice, nothing. And then section 4 states that no patent shall be granted in respect of invention relating to atomic energy falling within subsection 1 of subsection 20 of Atomic Energy Act. That is, if your invention is involving like radioactive substances like uranium, thorium, plutonium, and the madri generator or idu irundaduna, if it falls under subsection 1 of section 20 of Atomic Energy, that is, the section enna solluduna, if it is harmful to the society or the environment or the humans or the living things, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிற patents they won't grant. That's all. So now I think you have an idea what is a patent. Patent என்கிறது ஒரு right, it is for an invention, scientific invention. So அந்த scientific invention என்னவா இருக்கணும்? New, useful and industrially, I mean inventive step. And then it should not fall under section 3 and section 4 of Indian Patent Act. So உங்ககிட்ட ஒரு patent இருக்கு. So அதை நீங்க எப்படி ஃபைல் பண்ணுவீங்க? So here first we have to file our application in the Indian Patent Office. அதுக்கப்புறமா publish ஆயிடும் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா 18 மாசம் கழிச்சு our invention will get published, or you can opt for express publication where publication will happen within 2 weeksலயே நமக்கு இந்த எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் ரூட் போனோம்னா நமக்கு publication ஆயிடும். And then we have to file request for examination. And then patent office will take up for examination, and then they will issue the examination report, and we have to file reply for that examination report. If the examiner is satisfied with our reply, they will grant the patent, else they will call for hearing and then grant will take place. So this is the procedure. First நம்ம patent officeல போய் நம்ம invention file பண்ணணும், அடுத்து publish ஆகும், அடுத்து examine பண்ணுவாங்க, நமக்கு ரிப்போர்ட் அனுப்புவாங்க, அதுக்கு நம்ம ரிப்ளை ஃபைல் பண்ணணும். ரிப்ளை ஃபைல் பண்ண உடனே இஃப் தே ஆர் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபைட் நமக்கு கிராண்ட் கொடுத்துருவாங்க, இல்லைன்னா ஹியரிங்க்கு கூப்பிடுவாங்க, அங்க நம்ம ஆர்கியூ பண்ணி கிராண்ட் ஆர் ரிஜெக்ஷன் வில் டேக்ஸ் பிளேஸ். ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் த ப்ரொசீஜர் ஃபார் ஃபைலிங் த பேட்டன்ட் கிராண்ட். These are the various documents. என்னென்ன டாக்குமெண்ட்ஸ் நமக்கு தேவை நம்ம பேட்டன்ட் ஆஃபீஸ்ல ஃபைல் பண்ணணும்னா ஃபார்ம் 1, 2, 3, 5, 26 and then fees. These are the things which you have to submit while filing the patent application. So this is what the patent thing in India. Coming to அடுத்த copy and அடுத்த intellectual property, that is copyright. Copyright is an exclusive right of the copyright holder. So எல்லா intellectual propertyயுமே ஒரு right தான். Right. So இங்க copyrightல என்ன கிடைக்கிறது நமக்குன்னா a right to copy or reproduce the work for which the author has the right, got the copyright, and right to authorize others to do, and it is a product of human skill and mental capacity. That is, copyright is a right. And then what right you are getting to reproduce, that is நீங்க அந்த books publish பண்ணி அதை வந்து மார்க்கெட்ல லான்ச் பண்ணலாம், so that you can get royalty out of it. நீங்களா டைரக்டா பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணலாம், ஆர் ஆத்தரைஸ் அதர்ஸ், இல்லைன்னா நம்ம ஒர்க்கை வேற ஏதாவது பப்ளிஷர்ஸ்க்கு கொடுத்து உங்க பேர்ல பப்ளிஷ் பண்ண சொல்லிட்டு அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து யூ கேன் கெட் த ராயல்டி. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் த ரைட் யூ ஆர் கெட்டிங் as far as copyrights are concerned. Actually, I must say copyright is a bundle of rights. Right of reproduction, that is புதுசா பப்ளிஷ் பண்ணி you can launch the thing in the market, or communicate to the public. Communicate to the public என்னும்போது you can conferenceல you can talk, or if it is a movie na நீங்க telecast பண்ணலாம், broadcast பண்ணலாம். Adaptation and translation, நீங்க தமிழ்ல மட்டும்தான் எழுதிருக்கீங்கன்னா throughout எந்த லாங்குவேஜ்ல வேணாலும் உங்களது தான் அந்த ஒர்க். That is the bundle of right. So these are the various subject matters of copyrights: cinematography work, artistic, dramatic, musical, literary, sound recording, computer programs, etc. So these are the various subject matters. And then who is the owner of this copyrights? If it is a literary and dramatic work, author will be the owner. And if it is an artistic work, the artist. If it is a musical work, the composer, the photography, the photographer, the cinematography, the producer, and then computer program, the programmer is the owner of the copyright. So if it is a cinematography work, producer the owner. Okay, coming to artistic work. Artistic work na என்னன்னு பார்க்கும்போது it can be any paintings, sculptures, drawings, engravings, architecture, any work which has artistic quality. These are all falls under artistic. Cinematography work we all know, like sound recording accompanied with visual images, moving visual images is the cinematography work. Literary work and பார்க்கும்போது it includes everything. Whatever you are writing in a paper will falls under literary work, and it includes computer programs, tables, and compilations, including computer database. So this is what the various literary works. It can be books or e-books, new edition of books, novels, stories, plays, poems, song lyrics, concept notes, letters, tables, compilations, stickers, questionnaire banks, questionnaires, question papers, brochures, catalog, pamphlet, activity books, etc. இது எல்லாமே it falls under copyrightable subject matter. Music work அப்படின்னா that graphical notation you will be having that அந்த sheet music ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So that is what musical work. Sound recording means if the sound is recorded in a medium or CD ல, it can be a song or a recorded speech or an audio book, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறதுல it will comes under sound recording. So that's what these are the various subject matters of copyrights, right? So it can be literary, literature, books, dramatic, drama, அதாவது screenplay எழுதுறது, musical. Musical means that sheet music. Sound recording na or medium CD la போடுறது. Cinematography work we all know, movies. And then what is that term? For how many years you will get the protection? See, for patent I said it is for 20 years, and for copyrights you just see, in case of artistic, dramatic and literary work, lifetime of the author plus 60 years. That is, author இறந்ததுக்கு அப்புறமா 60 வருஷம், அதுக்கு அடுத்து 60 வருஷம் he will be having the copyright protection. So that if I write a book and it is ரொம்ப நல்லா சேல் ஆகுதுன்னா, எனக்கு அப்புறம் என்னுடைய லீகல் ஹையர்ஸ்க்கும் 60 வருஷத்துக்கு you will get the royalty. If it is artistic, dramatic also, lifetime plus death. Lifetime of the author plus 60 years. And then if it is a public undertaking, government institutions, அந்த மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா, the term is 60 years from the date of its publication. You will get the right. And this is the registration flow. This is also very simple registration. First, we have to, copyright registry is only in Delhi, where we have to submit our application in Copyright Office. And then there will be a period of 3 months where they will take up for this. They will check whether there is any discrepancy or not. If there is no discrepancy, they will grant the copyright application. If it comes to, if there is some discrepancy, ஏதாவது objections இருக்குன்னா, they will be sending the objection report where we have to file the reply. அவங்க satisfy ஆயிட்டாங்கன்னா, they will grant the patent, else they will, copyright, else they will call for hearing and then grant will take place. So this is very simple. Within 3 months la நமக்கு வந்து copyright grant certificate கிடைச்சிரும். First file பண்றோம், no objection, grant. If there is objection, you have to file reply to the objection and then grant will take place. If the reply is not satisfied, we will be called for hearing and then grant or rejection will take place. So this is the flow chart for copyright registration. And then see, copyright registration actually it is not compulsory. Register பண்ணணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை, வெறும் சீன் போட்டுக்கிட்டாலே போறோம், it is copyright protected. But owing to the enormous amount of years of protection, and in order to take legal action and in order to prove your copyright in foreign countries, it is advisable to take a copyright registration. See, I said beginning, patent la India la protection venna, you have to file your application in India. If you want to get protection in US la you have to file. Whereas copyright வந்துட்டு ஒரு இடத்துல ஃபைல் பண்ண போறோம், throughout the world it will be protected. Okay. Next, coming to trademarks, that is if any articles relating to commerce, that is it can be a goods or services, a brand name ஒன்னு கொடுக்குறாங்களே, that is what trademark is, something that distinguish your product from others within the market. So these are the various famous well-known trademarks, Coca-Cola, Cipla, Procter & Gamble, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson. These are the various trademarks. And it can be a word. Word in a word, it can be a Fanta, Coca-Cola, அப்படி மாதிரி வேர்டா இருக்கலாம். லோகோ, லோகோன்னா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், ஆப்பிள் ஃபோனுக்கு ஒரு லோகோ இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா? So that is a logo. Or a slogan. Sloganna, have a break, have a Kit Kat. and the Kit Kat oda slogan, "A dil mange more" for Pepsi. These are all the slogans. Or it can be a design or a color scheme. You can see in Sakti Masala, you will have that green and red color. So that is the color scheme, and the smell, and also the sound also is protected under trademarks. And what is the objective of this trademark is, of course, to prevent confusion among the consumers. See, for example, if somebody like ஒரு ஷாம்பு ஒன்று லான்ச் பண்ணுறாங்க, அதுக்கு பேர் சாம்சங் ஷாம்பு அப்படின்னு கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா, people will think that, okay, சாம்சங் காரன் தான் ஷாம்புவை லான்ச் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. So that's what, to prevent the confusion among the consumers and to control the reputation, and of course to protect the goodwill. So these are the objects. So essentials of trademarks in பார்க்கும்போது, it should be distinctive in respect of goods. கூட்ஸுக்கும் இதுக்கும் சம்மந்தமே இல்லாம இருந்ததுன்னா you will get protection. For example, Apple for computers. See, computer is an electronic good. Apple is a fruit. So if you give a distinctive, you will get 100% protection. And then easy to pronounce, remember, spell or write, and it should not be confusing. Like there is one case like Talappa Katti biryani versus Talappa Kattu biryani. So it should not be confusing to the thing. And then, preferably an invented or coined words that is without any meaning. Kodak அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு எந்த மீனிங்கும் இல்லை. பட் Kodak அப்படின்னு சொல்லும் போதே we came to what comes to your mind is the camera. And then it should not belongs to the mark prohibited by law, etc. Emblem of India. I mean, example, emblem of India should not contain obscene matter and should not hurt religious or sacred feelings of any citizen. So that's all about trademarks. Coming to designs. Design means a beautifying an industrial product to attract consumer public. A new or original design adapted for ornamentation, shaping, and configuration of an industrial product is eligible for design registration. See, what are all will comes under design registration is something that beautifying, that gives an aesthetic appeal to the product. It can be the shape of the product, or it can be the design applied on the product. Okay, so like when two companies, like rendu company, they are competing, then how equal price and equal functionality irundaduna, how they will compete? Only the design. Okay, and design ranges from shape of the product to packaging, and this design is valid for 10 years and can be extended up by 5 more years. That is 15 years நம்ம design protection பண்ணலாம். See, for patent it is 20 years. For trademark it is, copyright it is lifetime of the author plus 60 years. For trademark இந்த மாதிரி limitations la கிடையாது. நீங்க if you keep on paying the renewal fees, you will get the trademark registration. And for design it is 15 years. So up to 15 years. For example, see, what are the designs? Medicines ellame, if it is a cardiovascular, heart related, the shape of the tablet will be RT. That is also design protected. And then like that Kinder Joy, that egg shaped candy, it is also design protected. So it can be either the shape of the product to the packaging. Anything which is giving an aesthetic, பார்க்கிறதுக்கு கொஞ்சம் அழகா இருக்கு அப்படின்னா it can be protected under industrial designs. Any queries you can ask.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very wonderful presentation, ma'am. Dear participants, if you have any doubts, you may ask or put in chat box.
Any questions you can ask. Is there any questions in the chat box, ma'am? No. Okay, ma'am. Since there is no questions, I thank the organizers for inviting me to deliver the lecture on intellectual property rights, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Rekha, ma'am. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Dear participant, thank you for your participation. You can leave now, ma'am.
Kalai, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes,
shall we
ma'am.
wind up the session?
Vinodini, ma'am.
Ma'am, she is not in the line, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We will wind up, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All is well that ends well. Behind every successful event, there is toil and effort of many people. Without a word of appreciation to them, no event is complete. Firstly, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our resource persons, Mrs. Deepthi Mabel, Advocate and Corporate Trainer, Dr. Reddy's Foundation, Mysore, and Dr. B. Deepa, Indian Registered Patent Attorney, Bhavesh Associates, Intel Patent Solution, Chennai, for honoring the occasion in spite of their busy schedule. At this moment, I would like to register my heartfelt, deepest gratitude to MHRD Institutions Innovation Council for sponsoring the Impact Series lectures. I thank our secretary, Mr. D. Manathan sir, who always provides an invisible hand of support behind every event organized by us. He is the man who guides, watches, and applauds every effort of ours. Thank you, sir. I extend my sincere gratitude to our principal madam, the guiding light, who has been constantly supporting us with her time, energy, and brilliant ideas. Thank you, ma'am. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our IAC President, Dr. Amrtavali ma'am, for her excellent motivation, valuable suggestions, and perpetual encouragement. Thank you, ma'am. For an event to take shape, cooperation is the key word. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to my IAC team colleagues. I also thank the faculty members and students of DKM College, both day and evening, for their great participation and support. I extend a very special thanks to the technical team of DKM College for their wonderful support. Last but not the least, I also thank the administrative and non-teaching staff of DKM College for rendering their helping hands. Thank you, one and all.